English podcast by Ecsplicite. Hello and welcome to the episode. I'm Lawrence. If you're like me, you probably associate African national parks with thoughts of travelling in a jeep or a Land Rover across vast expanses of savannah in the hope of catching sight of unique wildlife. And in particular, capturing what are known as the Big Five on camera. The Big Five being amongst the most famous of Africa's large animals and the ones that feature most often in popular culture. Well, in this episode, we hear from our colleague Desiree, who shares a childhood encounter with one of the Big Five in the enormous Kruger National Park in South Africa. The Kruger National Park covers an area about the size of Wales in the United Kingdom, or a region like Brittany in France. But before we hear from Desiree, here's our question for today. In her story, Desiree mentions the Big Five that include the lion, the elephant, the rhinoceros, the buffalo, and... yes, what is the fifth? What is the fifth animal? Is it A, the giraffe, B, the leopard, C, the hippo, or D, the zebra? Well, we'll give you the answer at the end of the episode. But first now, let's go and hear from Desiree, who's going to tell us all about the Kruger National Park in South Africa.
The Kruger National Park is a massive game reserve located in northeastern South Africa. It spans over two provinces, Mpumalanga and Limpopo. When I say massive, I really mean humongous. I believe I heard somewhere that it is bigger than the country Israel, but don't quote me on that, I will deny it. Other than being home to the Big Five, the leopard, the lion, the black rhino, the elephant, and the African buffalo, and also big, vast, open landscapes, it is also home to a lot of my near and dear memories. Ever since I've had consciousness, I remember going on holiday to the Kruger every July. We would hook the caravan up on my dad's car and drive down to set up camp in Skukuza, which is a very popular rest camp located inside the Kruger. While my family would try and figure out which tent pole goes into which, I would conjure up some sort of excuse to leave. Usually, I would go with the, my tummy doesn't feel good narrative, and then I would just go for a walk, or I'll go get ice cream, I'll just go sit somewhere and wait. Eventually, I would show up, and voila, all the tents are set up, and I have nothing to do, and I can relax. Perhaps my most memorable experience was learning how to drive in the Kruger. I should preface by saying that it was no easy task teaching me how to drive. Any sign of traffic made me hysterical. So, my dad thought it would be a great idea to take advantage of those vast open landscapes I mentioned earlier. And it was brilliant. The peace of seeing antelopes galloping in the distance and the bird sounds replacing the car beeps of the city was just what I needed to master the art of driving. Until one day, I came across an angry elephant. It was stomping at nothing and waving its trunk around. I think the color literally drained from my face and I started panicking. There was another panic driver opposite me on my side of the road, leaving me no choice but to drive directly past the elephant. It looked like I would have to squeeze past it. That was how close it was to the road. My dad's calm presence and low voice guided me, and I sped past that elephant like it was nothing. The elephant and I made brief eye contact, I think. I don't know what that meant for the other driver. I hope he's okay. But that incident was just what I needed to overcome my fear of driving. I am so grateful for my dad and for having had the opportunity to create these irreplaceable Kruger National Park memories. Today I feel like I can take on any elephant in any road, easy. I haven't been to the Kruger in a long time, but that's just because I've discovered the beautiful city of Cape Town. I am curious to find out what the mother city has in store for me. I hope it entails less elephants.
Yes, I can imagine that after that, you're pretty nonchalant about heavy traffic in the city. So thank you for sharing with us a truly memorable experience. So let's come back to our question, which, if you remember, was about the fifth big game animal. The big five game animals are the lion, the black rhinoceros, the African bush elephant, the African buffalo, and yes, the leopard. Yes, the answer B. Leopards are amongst the most famous of Africa's large animals. Please tune in again in 2 weeks' time for our next podcast, in which our colleague Tasmin tells us about the plight of elephants in Thailand. Thanks for listening, and bye for now.